Disney in talks to bring back Gina Carano to The Mandalorian? Well, here we are at Bounding into Comics, referring to these rumors that a lot of people have talked about, but most notably, Overlord DVD, Doomcock, the future ruler of the universe, discussed this, and his sources have informed him of this scenario, which a lot of it would come across as just wishful thinking, and boy, wouldn't it be glorious, and it would be a big boost for Star Wars going forward, you know, and a long way of mending fences and reconstructing so many bridges burnt. But because of that, you think, come on. Would she even want to? And that's one of the big things here, because I wouldn't blame her a bit if she said, no, thank you. But she might do it anyway, because, you know, there's a lot of fandom would like to see it, and that sort of thing. But also, certainly a public apology would be part of the deal, I would think, even though, yeah, the apology would be completely empty, but along with a pretty big pay raise. Oh, yeah, there's got to be a pay raise involved in this, because they didn't just fire her. They defamed her. So anyway, they quote Doomcock here. My Hollywood agents have been telling me for weeks now that Disney is in talks with Gina Carano about the possibility of returning to the role of Cara Dune in The Mandalorian, and several other shows in the Favreauverse. I resisted saying anything about this, largely because I had my doubts that anything would come of this. Disney certainly must have offended Gina with the alleged reason for her dismissal, namely so-called insensitivity to the Jewish people, which, given the context of her tweet, was an unfounded objection. Boy, was it. It was an outright lie. And like I said, they could have just quietly just said, yeah, well, her storyline's done, and we're moving on, and that kind of thing. But no, they had to do all this crap. And that's a big part of their problem. You know, they keep smearing people, but this was this really crossed the line. Oh, my God, she stole the Mandalorian. Well, she's owed that and a lot more. Yeah, the fat paycheck is what she's owed. But anyway, so yeah, the article goes on about the horrible circumstances of how they dismissed her. They didn't even call her on the phone to say, yeah, Gina, we're letting you go. No, she had to find out on social media through this smearing of her, when all she did was post this image from World War II era of what happened to the Jews. And the point of the matter is if you demonize people, eventually it turns very, very nasty, which is what happened. And that's the point she made, which is true. And what did Disney do in response? They demonized her and ruined her name. Could have just let her go, but no, you had to make it far worse. So then she goes on to Daily Wire. They said, hey, come work for us. We're going to be making movies. And not only that, you can produce and make your own. So she's like, all right. So she signed up over there. So yeah, you're going to have to make it worth her while, because now she's got a very busy schedule there, Disney. Yeah. So, and of course she discussed about, you know, don't back down to cancel culture. People got to grow some spines and stand up to it and all that. And she is our princess, leader of the rebellion. Yes. Oh yes, she welcomes you to it. Okay, so he, of course, Doomcock goes, yeah, I was afraid that she'd moved on and wouldn't want to come back. But, well, a source has come forward claiming that Gina is talking to Disney about returning, and proof to these talks has already materialized. As reported in my last Pulp Culture Breakdown episode, by the way, subscribe to Doomcock. It's great stuff. He's a good guy. And he's so nice, he's even had me on his Friday Night Frolic show. Oh, hey, of course I'm biased, but still, it's a good channel. Anyway, Disney officially uncanceled Gina Carano's episode of Running Wild with Bear Grylls on Nat Geo. Yeah, that's an interesting part too, because it's like, oh, go back to Disney. You know, they'll slap Lucasfilm into shape, you know, or into line, you know. But they didn't. They joined them in this because Nat Geo is not a part of Lucasfilm, and yet they canceled her episode, and then yes, they brought it back. Of course, you got to wonder if Bear Grylls said, "Hey, what the hell?" Stuff like that. And then there's that Forbes article that came out and just humiliated Disney by telling the truth. So yeah, there's reasons for this. And then, of course, the pain that apparently you have to conclude was somewhat substantial of people, not unlike myself, who canceled Disney Plus. So if you want me back, yeah, signing her back on would go a long way of restoring that. So anyway, but it shows you that you can't just put it all at Lucasfilm, because whatever Kennedy wants, Disney didn't have to obey her. It's supposed to be the other way around. But they did. But now it's back on. You can watch the show when it airs and all that. So, let's see, there's a sign something's afoot, perhaps. So, of course, she tweeted about it. Want to hear something cool? So, May 10th, the show will be on, and you can watch Gina on Bear Grylls. So, he cites this as proof. But there was more proof out there in the wild. Cara Dune toys are back. Fans have been tweeting out pictures of Cara Dune toys on the shelves of Walmart again. These two developments are earth-shaking for Star Wars fans, as well as fans of fair play everywhere. There can be no doubt there has been movement in Disney's attitude toward Gina Carano. Otherwise, neither of these developments would have come about. So he then addresses what his source told him about regarding Gina's position towards Disney, Gina's attitude towards Disney. Could she possibly agree to return? According to my source, all of this springs from the fact that Jon Favreau himself has put his neck on the line and has been using his influence behind the scenes to make this right again. Saying he's playing a game of 4D chess with these guys. The thing about Favreau is he produced. She really didn't. She's produced a lot of failure and a lot of soap opera crap behind the scenes, which I gotta admit, the behind the scenes soap opera is the most interesting thing she's produced. A failed sequel trilogy, one good movie in Rogue One. I'll give her that one, even though that was a mess and had to be saved by someone coming in and rescuing it. Solo, I didn't mind really, but it paid the price of Last Jedi, So, yeah. Then Mandalorian comes along, and all it is cowboy in space taking care of a little kid, Aww. And, yeah, it was a hit. And then, of course, Luke Skywalker coming back. Oh, boy, wasn't that sweet. And we all had a glorious moment there, It's like, hey, you know what? I think Jon Favreau just saved Star Wars. And then, Kathy doesn't like Gina. And it burned it all down again. Yeah. So it's blatantly obvious who can really save Star Wars here. So, she mentioned that there were people standing up for her behind the scenes, but they lost out, and she doesn't want to hurt anybody, so she doesn't mention any names. But Favreau's got to be one of the guys who didn't want this to happen. And all of a sudden, Mandalorian, we're going to put that off for a while. And now there's rumors that Mandalorian Season 3 will be the end. There's even rumors of Favreau leaving for Warner Brothers. So there's a lot of rumors out there. And I don't know what he would do at Warner Brothers. Maybe he could save DC. Well, I'm sure he could save DC, but bad robots in his way. And boy, talk about another war. Does he want to put up with that? If Disney's listening to him, he'd be best to stay put and take over Star Wars, So, yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it, if we are to believe this, and it does look like things are afoot. So, John knows getting Gina back needs to happen, not only because he wants her back, and it's the right thing to do because Gina was unfairly characterized to the point of slander by all of this nonsense, but also because of the story that Jon Favreau has planned. Yeah, I mean, technically speaking, had they not slandered her so bad, yeah, I suppose he could ride around it. But we don't know what it is he had in mind. It might have been a much bigger character arc and story, and also supposedly she was supposed to be the lead for the Rangers series, and now that's all up in smoke. So yeah, he could work on something else, but boy, is that going to really stick to, I mean, come on. So, big sprawling tale of galactic intrigue across a number of different series, all building towards what fans hope will be the ultimate erasure of the sequel trilogy. Now, that one, yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, Gina coming back is more possible than this one. I thought that, there seems to be more evidence they're trying to fix it, which you can't. The movies are done, and there's comic books, and there's the latest issue of the Darth Vader where he discovers Palpatine's secret clone lab, and it looks like there might be Luke's hand floating in it, suggesting that perhaps Snoke had Skywalker blood in him and stuff like that. Yeah, whatever, but it's not on screen. You can't just go, well, you got to read the novel and the comic book. No, that means your movie failed. So, and there was certain things in Mandalorian you thought, oh, I think they're building towards the First Order and stuff like that. Which, had the movies done this right, and if they were adapting elements of the EU, there's also rumblings that the EU is going to be reestablished because they're reissuing the novels and all that. But they had the problem that the cast had aged out of those roles. So but you could have adapted elements of it and stuff like that, and then your Star Wars story single movies could have fleshed out the story more. They didn't do any of that. They didn't have a plan at all. So you can't go back after the fact and mess with this. Really, as far stretch as it seems, the idea of the world between worlds, which is one of the things that Doomcock keeps referring to, is a possible out for them, and that the sequel trilogy would be relegated to an alternate timeline. Which would mean, do you do another sequel trilogy or just let the story be told through, D+ series, perhaps animated and that sort of thing? Because even with all that, patching up the story and fixing it, yeah, narratively you could do that, but you could never get back to the moment that Disney squandered, which was that Beatles reunion of the original cast. Because sadly, Carrie's dead. So, yeah, oh boy, that's always going to stick. So can Star Wars ever really truly get back to where it was? No, but it can be fixed up and perhaps become something great down the road. But that's going to be a hard thing to do. But you need someone like Favreau there who at least understands Star Wars, and that's just case closed. He does. So, hey, what's that other star that's aligning with all? Well, Gina tweets this. Start making room for what you prayed for because it's on the way. Now, look, Gina tweets a lot of inspirational lines and stuff like that. And this could be just another one of those, Yeah, the power of prayer. But boy, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? But it's all a coincidence. And yes, it could be. It could be. But that's one of the things why it seems to lend some sort of credibility to this. There are explanations like that being, that's just the type of stuff she posts, She tries to be optimistic and puts out these inspirational lines and stuff like that. The toys could just be the inventory was a lot, and the toy companies have got to be pissed off at Disney and Lucasfilm. Because this was all the other toys that they squandered material and money on that didn't sell, yet here's one that was selling. And no, cancel that one. So there might be just a bunch of Cara Dune figures, and all right, just put them out. And then when those are gone, that's it. It could be. Or something's changed, and perhaps, just perhaps, Cara Dune will return. Well, one could hope, and we'll see. I don't know. As for May the 4th, and yeah, there was that business of the poster and image and all that, and maybe that is, I don't know. But as for May the 4th, I'm still mad at Star Wars, so there will be no Star Wars videos coming from me tomorrow. And not even a hashtag, no photoshopped images tweeted or posted elsewhere, nothing. Because they've got work to do. And if they don't do it, well, then we will remain apart. Yeah. Yeah. Had a good run one time ago, but for now it appears to be over. But just perhaps, something good is on the way. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.